My name is Grace Sullivan, and I'm going to tell you about the day I accidentally discovered my husband was planning to murder me for $2 million, about how a smart speaker recording changed everything, and how I decided that instead of running to the police, I'd give him exactly what he wanted, my death. Except I'd be watching from the grave when he tried to cash in. Let me start by saying I never thought I'd be that woman, the one whose husband wants her dead. We weren't the couple with constant fights or obvious problems. From the outside, we looked perfect. Derek was a successful financial advisor. I worked as a marketing director for a pharmaceutical company. We had a nice house in the suburbs outside Philadelphia, took vacations twice a year, hosted dinner parties. Normal, stable, safe. Or so I thought. We'd been married for 6 years, met through mutual friends at a barbecue, dated for a year before he proposed on a beach in Maine. The wedding was small, just family and close friends. The early years were good, or at least I thought they were. We both worked long hours, didn't see each other as much as we probably should have, but when we were together, things seemed fine. Looking back now, I can see the cracks I ignored. Derek became distant around year 4, started working later, going out with clients more often. He'd come home smelling like perfume occasionally, but when I asked about it, he'd say it was from hugging a female colleague or sitting next to someone at a business dinner. I believed him because I wanted to, because questioning it meant acknowledging something might be wrong. Around our 5th anniversary, Derek suddenly became very interested in our life insurance. We'd had policies since we got married, standard stuff, each of us covered for $500,000, but Derek started talking about increasing coverage. "We should up our policies," he said one night over dinner. "With inflation, $500,000 isn't what it used to be. If something happened to one of us, the other should be properly taken care of." It seemed reasonable. Morbid, but reasonable. We were in our mid-30s, both had good incomes. Planning for the worst made sense. "How much are you thinking?" I asked. "Maybe $2 million each? That way, if something happened, the survivor could pay off the house, cover funeral costs, and have enough to maintain their lifestyle." $2 million felt like a lot, but Derek was the financial expert. I trusted his judgment. We updated our policies, went through the medical exams, signed the paperwork. I didn't think much about it after that. That was 8 months ago. 3 weeks ago, everything changed. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I'd come home early from work with a headache, took some aspirin, and decided to relax in the living room. Derek was still at his office, or so I assumed. I wanted to listen to music, so I asked our Alexa to play something relaxing. "Alexa, play peaceful piano music." Instead of music, I heard voices. My first thought was that the device had glitched, connected to the wrong thing, but then I recognized Derek's voice. "Insurance policy is solid. $2 million, accidental death clause included." I froze. This wasn't live. This was a recording. Another voice, male, someone I didn't recognize. "And you're sure about this? There's no going back once you start." "I'm sure. The policy's been active for 8 months. That's past the contestability period. As long as it looks like an accident, there won't be an investigation." My heart started pounding. They were talking about the life insurance, about it looking like an accident. The other voice, "How are you planning to do it?" "Car accident. I've been researching it. If the brake lines are cut properly, it looks like mechanical failure. She drives that winding route to work every morning. Plenty of curves and hills. One failed brake at the wrong moment and it's over." I couldn't breathe, couldn't move, just sat there listening to my husband casually discuss murdering me. Derek's voice continued. "The timing has to be right. I need to make sure I'm somewhere visible when it happens. Solid alibi. Probably a breakfast meeting with clients. Somewhere with cameras and witnesses. What about the car? Won't they inspect it after the crash? By the time anyone looks closely, the evidence will be inconclusive. Brake lines deteriorate, especially on older cars. Hers is 6 years old. Plenty of wear and tear. They might suspect tampering, but they won't be able to prove it. You've really thought this through." "I've had time. Look, I know this sounds cold, but Grace and I..." There's nothing left there. I can't afford a divorce. She'd take half of everything. This way, I get the insurance payout, keep the house, start fresh with, well, you know, with Melissa. Melissa. My stomach dropped. I knew that name. Derek's colleague at the investment firm. Young, pretty, recently divorced. He'd mentioned her occasionally, always casually, just a coworker. Yeah, Melissa and I have been talking about a future together, but I can't do that with Grace in the picture financially. The insurance is the cleanest solution. The cleanest solution? He was talking about killing me like it was a business decision. The recording ended abruptly. I sat there in complete silence, the Alexa's blue ring glowing innocently. I'd asked for peaceful piano music and gotten evidence of a murder plot instead. My hands were shaking. I grabbed my phone, started to call 911, then stopped. What was I calling to report? A recording I'd accidentally stumbled on? Would they even believe me? Could they do anything based on an Alexa recording? I needed to think, needed to figure out how this recording even existed. I pulled out my laptop, logged into the Alexa app, started going through the device's history. Turns out, Alexa records everything, every command, every interaction, all stored in the cloud. I scrolled back through weeks of mundane recordings. Alexa, what's the weather? Alexa, set a timer. Alexa, play jazz. Then I found it. From 2 weeks ago, late at night. Derek must have been in the living room with his friend. I'd been upstairs asleep, and the device must have woken up accidentally, triggered by something they said that sounded like the wake word. It had recorded about 4 minutes of their conversation before going back to sleep. 4 minutes of my husband planning to kill me. I downloaded the recording, saved it to my cloud storage, backed it up to a USB drive, emailed it to myself. If something happened to me, this evidence needed to exist. Then I started thinking clearly for the first time since hearing that conversation. I could go to the police right now, show them the recording, they'd investigate, maybe arrest Derek for conspiracy to commit murder. But would it stick? He hadn't actually done anything yet. A good lawyer could argue it was just talk, dark humor, venting frustration, no actual crime committed. And what if the charges didn't stick? What if Derek got off? I'd have shown my hand, he'd know I knew, and I'd still be in danger. Maybe more danger, because now he'd be desperate. No, I needed to do this differently. I needed to let him think he'd succeeded, let him kill me, or think he had, let him try to collect the insurance money, because attempted murder with clear motive and intent, that's much harder to defend than a recording of a conversation. It was insane, completely insane, but sitting there in my living room listening to my husband casually discuss cutting my brake lines, I felt something shift inside me. Fear, yes, but also anger, cold, calculating anger. If Derek wanted me dead, I'd give him a corpse, and then I'd watch him try to profit from it. I spent that night planning while Derek slept beside me, completely unaware that I knew. I didn't sleep at all, just lay there thinking through every detail. First, I needed help. This wasn't something I could do alone. The next morning, I called in sick to work. Derek left for his office around 8. As soon as he was gone, I drove to the police station in the next town over, not our local precinct where Derek probably knew some of the officers. I asked to speak to a detective, said I had evidence of a murder plot. They put me in a small interview room. A detective named Sarah Chen came in, probably mid-40s, sharp eyes, no-nonsense demeanor. "Mrs. Sullivan, what can I help you with?" I pulled out my phone, played her the Alexa recording. Her expression changed as she listened. When it ended, she was silent for a moment. "This is your husband?" "Yes, talking about killing me for my life insurance, $2 million. And this recording is from when?" 2 weeks ago. The Alexa device recorded it accidentally. Detective Chen made notes. "This is serious. We need to investigate your husband immediately." "No, I don't want you to arrest him. Not yet." She looked up. "Mrs. Sullivan, your husband is planning to murder you. We can't just wait. Can you arrest him for this recording? Really arrest him. Make charges stick." She hesitated. "It's evidence of conspiracy to commit murder. We could bring him in for questioning, but without overt action on his part, a good lawyer could argue it's just talk, dark humor, venting frustration, no actual crime committed. And what if the charges didn't stick? What if Derek got off? I'd have shown my hand, he'd know I knew, and I'd still be in danger. Maybe more danger, because now he'd be desperate. No, I needed to do this differently. I needed to let him think he'd succeeded, let him kill me, or think he had. Let him try to collect the insurance money, because attempted murder with clear motive and intent, that's much harder to defend than a recording of a conversation. It was insane, completely insane, but sitting there in my living room listening to my husband casually discuss cutting my brake lines, I felt something shift inside me. Fear, yes, but also anger, cold, calculating anger. If Derek wanted me dead, I'd give him a corpse, and then I'd watch him try to profit from it. I spent that night planning while Derek slept beside me, completely unaware that I knew. I didn't sleep at all, just lay there thinking through every detail. First, I needed help. This wasn't something I could do alone. Detective Chen looked at me for a long moment. "Let me make some calls." Over the next 3 days, I met with Detective Chen and her team. They brought in people from the district attorney's office, from the fraud division, even a federal agent since life insurance fraud crossed state lines. Everyone agreed this was unorthodox, risky, and potentially brilliant. The plan came together quickly. We'd stage a car accident on my usual route to work, make it look like exactly what Derek was planning, brake failure on a dangerous curve. My car would go off the road, down an embankment, catch fire. The body inside would be burned beyond recognition, would require dental records to identify. Except it wouldn't be my body. It would be a medical training dummy, appropriately damaged and placed in the car. The fire would do the rest. Meanwhile, I'd be in protective custody, a safe house in another state, dead to the world, watching from a distance as Derek tried to claim my life insurance. "The moment he files the insurance claim, we have him," Detective Chen explained. "He can't claim it was just talk when he's actively trying to profit from your death. Combined with the recording showing premeditation, we've got a solid case for attempted murder and insurance fraud." We set the date, 1 week out. That gave us time to prepare the scene, brief the fire department and EMTs who'd respond to the accident, prepare the safe house. The hardest part was acting normal around Derek, going to work, coming home, making dinner, sleeping next to a man who was planning to kill me. Every morning when I got in my car, I wondered if this would be the day he decided to act, if he'd gotten impatient with his plan and cut my brakes early. But the car was fine. Every morning I checked, and every morning I drove to work on that winding route, knowing he was probably watching, timing it, planning it. 5 days before the staged accident, Derek's behavior changed. He became attentive again, almost loving, made my favorite dinner, suggested we watch a movie together, asked about my day with what seemed like genuine interest. I realized what he was doing, building his alibi of the devoted husband. When I died, he wanted people to remember how happy we seemed, how in love. The grieving widower would be more sympathetic, less suspicious. I played along. Smiled, laughed at his jokes, cuddled on the couch, all while knowing exactly what he was planning. The night before the staged accident, I lay awake again. This was really happening. Tomorrow, I would die. Tomorrow, my life as Grace Sullivan would end, at least temporarily. Derek slept soundly beside me. I watched him in the darkness, this man I'd married, and felt nothing but cold fury. The next morning, everything went according to plan. I left for work at my usual time, 7:30. Kissed Derek goodbye. He was heading to an early breakfast meeting, he said. Perfect alibi. Except the breakfast meeting was real. We'd confirmed it. Derek wasn't just planning an alibi, he'd already set it up, which meant he'd been planning this specific date for weeks. which meant today was supposed to be the day he killed me. I drove my usual route, a police car discreetly following. About 3 miles from my office, there's a particularly sharp curve with a steep embankment. That's where we'd stage it. I pulled over before the curve, got out, walked to the waiting, unmarked police car, got in the back seat, watched as the police stunt driver took over my car. "Ready?" Detective Chen asked from the front seat. I nodded, couldn't speak. Was I ready to watch my own death? The stunt driver positioned my car at the top of the curve. Another officer had placed the dummy in the driver's seat, secured it properly. From a distance, through a windshield, it would look human enough. They'd rigged the car with accelerant, would trigger it remotely after the crash. The fire was essential. It explained why the body would be unidentifiable, gave a reason why they'd need dental records. "Now," Detective Chen said quietly into her radio. The stunt driver released the brake. My car rolled forward, gained speed, went around the curve too fast, went off the road, crashed down the embankment, rolled twice, landed upside down. A moment later, flames erupted. My car was burning, thick black smoke rising into the morning air. I watched my death from the safety of an unmarked police car, and I felt strangely calm. "First responders are en route," someone said. "We'll maintain the perimeter, process the scene. Mrs. Sullivan, we need to get you out of here before anyone who might recognize you." They drove me to the safe house, an apartment in Harrisburg, about 90 miles away. Small, anonymous, just a place to wait. Detective Chen stayed with me for a while. Now comes the hard part, waiting. How long before Derek finds out? We'll notify him within the hour. First responders will arrive at the scene, call it a fatal accident, identification pending. We'll send officers to his workplace to inform him, all standard procedure. And then we wait for him to file the insurance claim. Could be a few days, could be a couple weeks. We have to let him make the move. She left me with a burner phone for emergencies and a laptop with secure access to monitor the investigation. I couldn't contact anyone I knew, couldn't access my social media, couldn't do anything that might indicate I was alive. I was dead, and now I had to stay that way. The next few days were surreal. I watched news coverage of my own death. Local woman killed in tragic accident. My photo on the screen. Derek giving a statement about his beloved wife. He looked devastated, genuinely broken. Oscar-worthy performance. My funeral was scheduled for the following week, closed casket, obviously. The body was too badly burned for viewing, they said. I wondered if Derek would cry, if he'd give a eulogy, if Melissa would be there pretending to be just a supportive colleague. I couldn't attend my own funeral, had to watch it via live stream on my laptop in the safe house. It was one of the strangest, most disorienting experiences of my life. The service was at the church we'd been married in. 200 people attended. My parents were there, destroyed with grief. My sister sobbed through the entire service. Friends from work, from college, from our neighborhood, all mourning me. And Derek, front row, head bowed, looking like a man who'd lost everything. I wanted to scream, wanted to run into that church and show everyone what a fraud he was. But I couldn't, not yet. Derek posted about me on social media, beautiful tributes about his lost love, changed his profile picture to one of us from our wedding, accepted condolences from hundreds of people. And then, about 2 weeks after filing the insurance claim, he changed his relationship status to in a relationship with Melissa. The backlash was immediate. People were horrified that he'd moved on so quickly. 2 weeks after his wife died and he was already with someone else? Friends called him out in the comments. Some even confronted him about whether he'd been cheating before I died. Derek's response was carefully crafted. Melissa has been a tremendous support during this difficult time. What started as friendship has become something more. I know it seems fast, but Grace wouldn't want me to be alone. She'd want me to be happy. Reading that made me sick. He was really doing it, playing the grieving widower while simultaneously cashing in on my death and moving on with his mistress. 4 weeks after my death, the insurance company approved the claim. Detective Chen called me again. It's happening. They're cutting the check. $2 million. Once he deposits it, we move. When? Tomorrow. He's scheduled to pick up the check from the insurance office tomorrow at 2 p.m. We'll have teams ready. The moment he has the money, we arrest him. I want to be there. Grace, I don't think that's a good idea. I want to be there. I want to see his face when he realizes I'm alive. She was quiet. It could be dangerous if he realizes what's happening before we have him secured. I'll stay back. I'll be with your team, but I need to see this. Finally, she agreed. The next day, I put on a baseball cap and sunglasses, rode in an unmarked police car to the insurance office. We parked across the street where I had a clear view of the entrance. He should be here any minute, Detective Chen said. At 1:58 p.m., Derek's car pulled up. He got out, looked composed and calm, walked into the insurance office like a man on a routine errand. Teams in position, Chen said into her radio. Affirmative, we have eyes on the target. We waited. 15 minutes later, Derek emerged from the office, carrying an envelope, the check, $2 million for my death. He walked towards his car, got in, started the engine. Now, Chen said. Police cars swarmed from 3 directions, blocked Derek's car in. Officers jumped out, weapons drawn. Derek Sullivan, turn off the engine and step out of the vehicle with your hands up. Through the car window, I could see Derek's face. Total shock, confusion. He looked around frantically, trying to understand what was happening. Step out of the vehicle, hands where we can see them. Derek got out slowly, hands raised. What is this? What is going on? I didn't do anything. Detective Chen walked across the street. I followed at a distance, staying back but wanting to see. Mr. Sullivan, we have evidence that you sabotaged your wife's vehicle with the intent to kill her. We have recordings of you planning her murder, and we have you right now attempting to collect $2 million in life insurance from that murder. My wife is dead. This is her life insurance. I have every right. Your wife isn't dead, Mr. Sullivan. Derek froze. What? That's when I stepped forward, took off the sunglasses and baseball cap. Hi, Derek. The color drained from his face. He staggered backward like I'd hit him. Grace, but the accident, you're dead. The accident was staged. I've been in protective custody for 4 weeks. See, I found the Alexa recording, the one where you talked about cutting my brake lines and killing me for the insurance money. So we decided to give you exactly what you wanted, a dead wife and a chance at $2 million. He was shaking his head, couldn't process it. This isn't real. This isn't happening. It's very real. You cut my brake lines, Derek. We found the evidence in the wreckage. You filed a fraudulent insurance claim, and you're holding a check for $2 million based on a death you caused, or tried to cause. I want a lawyer. I'm not saying anything without a lawyer. Smart choice, Detective Chen said. You're going to need a good one. Derek Sullivan, you're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. They read him his rights, cuffed him, put him in the back of a police car. He kept staring at me through the window like I was a ghost, like I couldn't possibly be real. I watched them drive him away, and I felt relief. It was over. Not quite over, actually. There was still the trial. The prosecution's case was overwhelming. They had the Alexa recording of Derek planning my murder. They had evidence that he'd cut my brake lines, exactly as he'd described. They had the life insurance claim, showing clear motive. They had testimony from Melissa that Derek had told her I'd die soon and they could be together. Derek's lawyer tried to argue that the recording was inadmissible, that the staged death made the insurance fraud charge invalid, that the whole operation was entrapment. None of it worked. The jury deliberated for 3 hours, came back with guilty verdicts on all counts: attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, insurance fraud, tampering with a vehicle. The judge sentenced him to 25 years in prison. Melissa wasn't charged with anything. She claimed she didn't know Derek was planning to kill me, thought he was just getting divorced. Maybe that was true, maybe it wasn't. I didn't care. She'd lost her boyfriend and her reputation. That was enough. The aftermath was complicated. I'd been legally dead for 6 weeks, had to be legally resurrected, which is apparently a huge bureaucratic nightmare. Death certificate had to be voided, all sorts of paperwork filed, my driver's license, credit cards, bank accounts, all had to be reinstated. My employer was understanding, gave me my job back once they understood what had happened. My family was traumatized from having grieved me, then finding out I was alive, then learning that Derek had tried to kill me. We're all in therapy now. It's helping. The life insurance company tried to sue me for the cost of the investigation, claimed I'd committed fraud by faking my death. My lawyer pointed out that I'd coordinated with law enforcement to catch a murderer and that the policy was never actually paid out. They dropped it. It's been a year now. I'm 37, divorced, Derek signed the papers from prison, and living in a new city with a new job. Changed my name legally, started completely fresh. Sometimes people ask if I regret how I handled it, if going to the police immediately would have been smarter, safer, less traumatic. Maybe, but maybe Derek would have gotten off on the conspiracy charge. Maybe he would have walked free and tried again, more carefully next time. This way, there was no doubt, no room for a good lawyer to create reasonable doubt. He attempted to murder me, tried to profit from it, and got caught red-handed. And there's something satisfying about having beaten him at his own game. He planned my death carefully, methodically. I planned my resurrection the same way. He underestimated me, thought I was just an obstacle to his happiness with Melissa and a $2 million payday. Turned out, I was the one thing standing between him and a prison cell, and I made sure he walked right into it. My name is Grace Sullivan. Well, it used to be. I'm the woman who died, came back to life, and watched her husband get arrested for trying to kill her. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat.